Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse One here. How we doing tonight? Now you're going to hear something in the background here in a minute. There you go. You hear her? What we do now with the pups, because she's the instigator, she's a bad girl. We have to take them out one at a time, unless we're right there watching them together. So when we take them out one at a time, she has major separation anxiety. She does not want to be apart from Caesar. So pretty funny, actually. So that's what you're hearing right now is her acting like a lunatic because Heather has Caesar out. So she'll switch it around in a second. Okay, so before we get into everything, couple things I want to show you here. You see this new poster here behind me? You can't see what it says because of the light shining in here, but underneath it says Father and Son's Journey. One of my subscribers sent this to me. This was from Sturgis. So this is number 12 out of 30 from Jim Yellow Hawk, it looks like. I think, yeah, Yellow Hawk. So he made that. I just think that that's a very cool poster. And so, I take Eddie for rides and I take Heather for rides all the time. So it could be either way, but it's a pretty cool thing. And so I thought that was a great poster, so I wanted to get it up as well. So somebody was asking me about this one here. This is one of my subscribers made this for me, and so I love that too. So that's why they're on my wall. So to those guys, the one that sent me the poster and the one that made the picture, obviously you guys know who you are. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that type of stuff. I love that. So anyway, so I wanted to say, like I said, again, before we get started, let's go over the ground rules like we have to every time. And every time somebody is going to make a comment, but that's okay. Remember, I'm asking you guys to be decent to each other in the chat. It's a very family-oriented channel. I do not allow any kind of racism or negativity, nastiness, and that type of thing. If you do that, you will be booted. I have my monitors that watch everything, and they will kick you out. So I'm just putting that out there ahead of time so that, everybody, we're all on the same page. All right. So secondly, again, once I'm done talking, if you have questions, please put them all in cap locks, okay? So that is that. All right. So anyway, so I'm going to show you real quick. I got one of my shirts on here today, and what this says on the top, it says prepare or die. And then I'm going to show you on the side, all my t-shirts have that emblem as well, and then it's got preppernerse1.com. So that's I was just going to show you that as well. So anyway, yeah, I have an appointment. I got my bike is going in here at the end of the month. I got to get new front tire, new back tire, tune up, oil change. We'll be all ready to rock and roll after that. I want to make sure it's completely safe. So that's on the agenda, and I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, so let's get into this topic. Now, right now, we have a lot of rain, a lot of things heading into the Midwest again, which has already been dealing with this flooding situation, okay? It's a late storm, and some places are getting up to like 2 feet of snow. So crazy, crazy, crazy stuff, guys. And, again, how is this going to affect everything? So I wrote some stuff down here, and I wanted to share this with you. So I wrote it so I didn't forget everything. Right now, before this storm happened, okay, North Dakota and Minnesota, 25% of the spring wheat is lost for 2019. Nebraska and Iowa, 50% of the corn is lost for 2019. Because of the lost production of ethanol, and in that region, they do about 15% of the ethanol production for the country. They are obviously, if you guys have noticed, the gas prices have been going up. That's why the gas prices have been going up, because of the ethanol production is down, because there's no production of ethanol right now in that region. Okay. Globally, there's a lot of disasters going on around the world as well. Okay. Right now, for Russia, they're down for wheat. They are down, or for grain, 43% from 2018. Canada is down 28% from 2018 production levels. So you're talking about a tremendous amount that they're not having now, okay? Kansas planting is at a 100-year low, basically related to the snowfall that happened in October of last year. So you're talking about a lot of different things that are being affected by this weather. And again, we're going to go back, to that whole Iowa, Nebraska, and all the things that's going on out in that region, South Dakota, and everything else. You're talking about an area that is really, really, really bad, and they're having a lot of issues right now. There's been a lot of the farmers out in Pennsylvania and New York, Ohio, and stuff like that have been sending supplies to help the farmers out in that area, which is absolutely awesome. Farmers are awesome, guys. I mean, people don't realize how important farmers are, and because of what's happening out there, basically in the grain belt, if you want to call it, you know what I mean. It's you're looking at a lot of people are not going to be able to recover from this, what's going on right now. And now you got another storm coming in. It's going to affect things even more. So I actually expect those numbers to go up. It's going to be worse than that. So how does that affect everybody else? Well, if you're talking about 50% of the production of corn from Iowa and Nebraska, which is where they grow a ton of corn, not being grown, that's a lot. And that's going to cause prices to increase, obviously. So you're talking about a lot of problems around the world, a lot of stuff going on. And like I said, it's just not here at home in the U.S. It's all over. It's Canada's being affected. You're talking about Russia's being affected. A lot of stuff is happening all over the place. You look what's going on over in Australia right now. They're having a lot of issues, as well. So very, very scary stuff if you really, if you sit down and you think about it. So it's very, very crazy. From Wyoming and Iowa going south is a huge prehistoric seabed. Yeah, I mean, it's just Smitty just said that. Yeah, they already are flooded in that area, and now they have more rain coming in. Are they going to be able to get any more planting done? You know what I mean? It's completely up in the air right now. So you're looking at no food production, which is going to affect. And here's something I want, like the one thing was saying for Kansas, the lowest production in 100 years. Let's think about how many people were on the planet even 100 years ago compared to now. We have a lot more people on the planet now that are counting on the food production all around the world, not just in the United States, but we feed a lot of the people around the world, and that production is not there right now. So very, very scary stuff, guys. Really, really scary stuff. So yeah, it's crazy, crazy, unreal what's going on around the world right now. So yeah, tough times ahead. Mountain Girl just said it's a very bad situation, and people don't realize that anything that happens around the country can affect all of us, and not just in the United States, but also around the world as well, especially when it comes to food production. So will bread go up in price? I would imagine that it would. I mean, if they're not making enough wheat to make the bread, everything is going to definitely go up. So realistically, when is the best time to prep? Yesterday, realistically. These prices are definitely not going to go down. They're going to go up. So, it's a scary situation. While I was thinking about it, guys, I wanted to mention really, really quickly. Hey, Mountain Girl, thank you for the donation. I appreciated it. Oh, okay. Now, I got a thing I want to. Now, Mountain Girl just bought a T-shirt and a coffee mug. What I'm going to ask anybody that's purchased a T-shirt, what I'm going to ask you guys to do is take a picture of yourself with that T-shirt, send it to my email at Yahoo, and I'm going to post it up on my Prepper Nurse One profile on Facebook, if that's okay with you guys. I just think that that's a fun thing. It's awesome that people are buying my merchandise. It blows me away, guys. It really, really does, and it's really, really cool. And again, it's very, very humbling. So anybody, once you get your T-shirts and stuff like that, if you want to post a picture of yourself or take a picture with you wearing my shirt, send it to me through my email at preppernurse1@yahoo.com. I'll post it up on my Prepper Nurse One page on Facebook. So I think that'd be kind of cool. So anyway, but I wanted to mention we are doing a giveaway. If you go to my website, preppernurse1.com, we're doing a giveaway right now of stickers. Okay, so you can register for that, and it's going to be a free giveaway. Nothing, you don't have to do anything other than just get into the contest. So all the information is right on my website. So if you guys want to check that out to get involved in the free giveaway for the stickers. Okay. So wanted to mention that. More info on the CBD oil. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you what, I've only been using it for a couple days now and really, really pleased with it so far. I really, really like it. It definitely makes a difference. One of the things that they have, actually, I'm going to just go ahead and show you this right here. This here is, let me just so you can see that there. It's a muscle pain eraser. Okay, I use this on my back, and I used it on my back yesterday, and I used it on my back today, and it definitely worked awesome. It really, really helped. And this is 400 milligrams right there of that one, and it's just you pull it off, and it's got, you just screw it up and then just rub it in, and it really, really worked well. So I definitely recommend it. I'm going to be talking with a gentleman from Big Nugget Farm, and we're going to get something set up, and they will be available on my website. Like I said, I'm a big believer in, I'm not going to recommend something that I won't use myself. So I definitely wanted to try it first, and it's worth it. To me, it is definitely worth it. So, and there will be a discount, and we'll talk about all that with that when we get to that point. Okay, so you guys will definitely be saving off the list price of what the cost of it is if you go through me. So, Eds, what's with this 3 days of darkness going on around YouTube? You know what? A lot of things, people are trying to read everything into everything. Here's something. Okay, now I'm not trying to get on the whole religious thing, but we're going to get on it just for a minute, and we're going to talk about this. Okay, everybody's thinking that this is the end times. Everybody's like, oh, this is the end times. This is the end times. For thousands of years, people have been saying it's the end times. Do you think that in World War I, that people didn't think, oh my God, these are the end times? Then World War II came, and people said, oh my God, these are the end times. We were at World War both of those times, okay? If there was going to be an end times, it would have been then. But if you guys want to look at your Bible, it says, no man knows the hour or the day of my return. So saying that, oh my God, this is the end times, that's not, nobody knows, guys, when the end times are. So the 3 days of darkness is all part of that from the biblical standpoint of it. I wouldn't read a whole lot into that. I really wouldn't. I mean, I'm just giving you my opinion. Like I said, if you go by what the Bible says, no man shall know the hour or day of my return. So I'm not going to read into it. Oh my God, the sky is falling. These are the end times and stuff like that. People have been saying that for 2,000 years, basically, ever since, Christ was crucified on the cross. They've been saying it's the end of the world and the time is now and yada, yada, yada. We never know. So, best you can do, guys, realistically, have faith. Obviously, if you are faith-based and you believe, I will never diminish anybody saying anything. If it gives you peace of mind and it makes you have peace, then great. So, but 2,000 years it has been said to end. Yep, exactly. So, it's just like I said, it's like if you read your Bible and you basically, nobody knows when it's going to happen. So anyway, so let's go on to something else. Right, many signs are already there, but why wouldn't all those signs were there for World War I? All those signs were there for World War II. You know what I mean? And those were worse because you had a global war going on that affected everybody. Biggest thing I want to talk about, let's go back a little bit on this whole situation with what's happening right now with, with the Midwest, okay? With the loss of production of food, guys, it's really, really important to stock up on food. Water is going to be huge. Don't get me wrong. Water is hugely important. You need to have water. Without water, you're dead in 3 days. Okay? I've had people say, oh, a week. No. 3 days. Rule of 3. It's 3 hours without oxygen, 3 days without water. Okay? Let's see. 3 weeks without food, and 3 minutes. It's 3 minutes 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. It's that rule of 3. So, I mean, think about in 3 weeks how badly your body would start to eat itself if you did not have food to bring into your body. Your mind would be all over the place. It would be terrible. Really, really terrible. Now, could you last longer than 3 weeks without food? I'm sure, but it would not be a fun time at all. Let's see. So, but talking about, if you guys don't garden, start gardening. Get and if you do garden, make your garden bigger this year. You know, get as much stuff that you can do for yourself. The time to buy wheat, time to buy corn and stuff like that, if you're going to do that to stock up on, would be now. That would be the time to do that now, because those prices are not going to go down. They're only going to go up. There's going to be food shortages because of that. It's going to affect things, guys. It really will. 3 weeks, 80% will be dead. I don't know if it would be that quick for 80%, but you know, if you could lay low for the first 6 weeks after an event, and I'm talking about a global or a countrywide event, if you can lay low for that first 3 weeks and ride that first 6 weeks out, your chances of survival will greatly increase. So do you believe farmers in the Midwest have been hoarding and stocking for 3 years? Do I believe it? I have no idea. No, I don't smoke weed. Sorry, King. No, I do not. Not against it, just not for me. I did it back in the day, but I haven't done it in years, and it's just really not my thing. It's okay. Hey, like I said, to each their own. You know, too wet to plant for the next 2 weeks. Well, I'm going to tell you what, we don't plant here, because somebody was asking me, well, when you get your garden, we don't plant here to May 31st. That's when generally people put their gardens in here in New York, because before then we can get a frost like today. I mean, it was snowing here at the Homestead today. So it definitely, you know, it makes a big difference is what you can get accomplished. So, you know, if it's snowing like that and if it's cold, you're not going to get things done. Okay, so that's you can grow food in your apartment. Wolf Fang just said that. Absolutely, you can. More snow to melt and reflood the Midwest. Absolutely, Harvey. And it's going to happen again. It's just going to make things worse again. So you know those guys out there. And let's think about this too, okay? Okay. Farmers have been stocking back crops because of low prices. Millions worth lost. Now, you're right. Yeah, they had been sitting back on it because of the whole trade war and stuff like that for this year. I know that. And so they've lost all that stuff. But let's think about this too, guys. Let's thinking about those huge tractors that the farmers use out there in the Midwest that are underwater right now, that are destroyed, basically. You're talking about, you know, $100,000 tractors that are just wasted. You know what I mean? And I know that there's insurance and stuff like that, but you know, there is a lot going on out there right now. And again, there's a lot of farmers that are not going to be able to recover from this. And I think they said like 50% of the farmers are not going to continue on after this. So that's kind of scary. That's absolutely scary. With 2 acres of land, what would be the first thing that you would do if you were starting fresh? Basically, you got to have shelter first. I mean, that's like the biggest thing. When we bought the property here, I have 3 acres here. And the first thing I did is, well, I worked on my driveway, got that going at first, so we could actually even get in here, made a spot, and had my camper brought in. That was the first thing I did, because we needed to have that in place, because worst case scenario, we could come and we had shelter. We already had the shop at that point, but again, it's like the first thing I would do if I was starting fresh again, shelter is first. Get some kind of shelter. Second thing is you want to try to get some kind of power. If you don't have a well, get a well. You know, some kind of water collection. Obviously, that's going to be important as well. So if you're just starting out fresh, that would be my recommendation to the way to go. You have to have some place to live in while you're doing everything else out of the weather. Growing year-round indoors with grow lights. That's a great way to do it, too. If you can do that, aquaponics is actually the way to go, guys. That's the best way to go. Remember how bad the Northeast blackouts were in 03? Think about what would happen if the grid goes down even for 2 weeks. What the chaos. Yeah, and thank you for that donation. Yeah, the blackouts back then, if they happen now even for a couple of weeks, people are going to go nuts. And if it was even 2 weeks, if there was no power for 2 weeks and people were not able to access their money. So think about that. Here's the biggest thing. Here's the difference between like 03 and right now. And even in 03 it was kind of, but right now it's all different. Nobody carries cash. Everybody has their debit card and they just go and they swipe for everything. And that's how a lot of people do things. They don't carry cash. I always carry cash because I'm a big believer in something goes down, you have money on you, then you can do what you need to do. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to access that money. And if you can't access that money, it's not going to do you any good at all, you know. Hey, Tara, how are you tonight? How long does meat stay good frozen? It depends on how you pack it up. If you pack it up really, really well, it can last quite a long time, and then you just have it in a rotation. You want to use your oldest stuff first and then your newest stuff last. In Vegas, you need cash. Yeah, it helps in Vegas. But I'm going to tell you what, guys, for the most part, what I do, honestly, when I do things, I pay cash. I don't like I said, whenever I go someplace and even Save a Lot or Big Lots, Walmart, whatever, they're always asking, do you have your card? Do you want a card? Blah, blah, blah. Nope, I want none of that stuff. That's all tracked. They have all that information, okay? So it's like, why am I going to give them more information about myself than they already have? You know what I mean? So if you pay cash, there's no paper trail. And that's the best way to do it. Depending on the situation, you can't access your banking. Always keep cash ready. Absolutely. You should have some cash always available, always, just in case of that emergency. You could break down in a highway, and if you can't get access to be able to use a debit card or something like that, and they said, we're only going to tow you if you have cash. I mean, that could happen right now. So that's, something to think about. Somebody said cash will be eliminated soon. I don't think that'll ever happen, honestly. I know there's a lot of talk with the whole New World Order and stuff like that, but I don't think you'll ever see cash eliminated. Now, if we have a collapse of the monetary system, that would be different, obviously. But, they keep propping that up right now. So the fiat dollar will be eliminated. Eventually, it absolutely will be. There definitely will be a reset of some sort. Nothing ever lasts, guys. That's the whole thing. I think that's what a lot of people don't understand about things. Like right now, for the last 200 years, America's been the greatest thing going. But you look at what's happening, now, and there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. So, how is the chicken coop? Donnie just asked. We're going to be working on that tomorrow. We were going to work on it today, but when I woke up this morning and it was snowing, and it was like a mixed rain and snow type of thing, we were like, yeah, not today. So we did not. We definitely did not do that today. So, like I said, that's why I was out moving rounds today and getting that done. History repeats itself. Absolutely it does. If you look at history, it happens over and over again. I'm going to tell you what, I truly believe, and I've said this before, we are the modern day Rome. Okay? And look how awesome Rome was, and at the height of their power, what they had. But Rome crumbled from within. Okay? Greed, corruption, laziness, too many wars. Does any of that sound familiar? And it's happening right now, You guys going to get the Midwest blizzard heading east? I'm not getting it in my area. I know that they're talking like in Maine. They're supposed to get it. We'll probably get some rain out of it. But I'm definitely not going to be getting a ton of snow like a lot of the people are getting out there. Do chickens do good in the winter, or do you have to have heat? Well, the chickens do pretty.
Can I take Abel?
Yes, you can take Abel.
Ow! Oh!
You get you? Oh, you okay?
Oh, I got it. Abel,
he got him with his claws when he turned. You got to be careful with him because he didn't realize, honey. He didn't do it on purpose. Chickens are going to be okay in the winter as long as they can stay warm. They have a tendency to huddle together. But what you want to do, if you want to keep chickens laying, especially in the winter, they need plenty of light. So having a light bulb in there for the daylight hours is definitely a way to go. Yeah, I don't want any more snow either. I'll be honest with you. I like being able to get out and start getting things done. It feels really, really good. Somebody had made the comment about that I should be cutting my wood in the wintertime. The Vatican is the modern day Rome. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Angela, but I think the United States is a modern day Rome. The Vatican is in itself is a whole different entity. To be honest with you, uh, there's a lot of corruption and greed in there as well. So and there's a lot of issues with the Vatican. We could go into a whole tirade about that. That would be another whole video. But I look at the Vatican has control of a lot of things, but countries that have the power, those are the ones that really control most everything. So, but anyway, what was I saying? Oh, going back to the chickens. The chickens, guys, they're going to be fine in the winter. You want them to lay, so they're going to need that light. So as long as they're warm and that they're getting some kind of light, and that's why I put those big windows in the front. So when that sun does come out in New York in the wintertime, which is rare, they're going to have that light in there, and then we'll have another light bulb in there to help them so that they lay better. And I insulated the crap out of the chicken coop, so it should be pretty good as far as that goes. Hey guys, if you would give a thumbs up, I would appreciate it. It all helps as far as like the whole thing with YouTube goes. So if you guys could give me a thumbs up, I would appreciate it. You can ravioli? I never saw that before. 91 the last couple days in Florida. Wow. The heat will be the biggest issue there. Yeah, Cricket Girl, absolutely. Down in Florida, that heat will be a killer. It will absolutely be a killer down there. So that's a scary thing too for you guys down there. 85 in Bama today. Nice. Yeah, we're not quite there yet. We're not quite there yet, but well, like I said, today we were at 34 degrees and it was snowing. So yesterday was in the 50s. I think tomorrow's going to be in the low 40s. So, we just kind of, actually for me right now, this is the best time to get out and get things done. The bugs aren't out in full force yet. And if you see some of my videos before where I'm out in the summertime and the bugs are out and I'm basically choking on bugs, that's not a whole lot of fun. So it's nice to get, John X. Yeah, I like John X. Army. He's a good dude. Marfugal is awesome too, guys. A lot of good information on his channel too. More. Candor, New York. Okay, very nice. Well, hey, like I said, guys, work. If you're just getting started with a property, like I said, I believe like shelter is a really important thing to get in place first because you have to have some place to go. Getting your infrastructure in there, and that's going to be a big thing as well. It depends on your financial situation, what you're able to do. Even if you get like a camper on there or something like that, someplace where you could go that you have some form of shelter, and then just build up from there. Mountain Girl says she's subscribed to Marfugal as well. Yeah, he's a good dude. I like him. He's got some good points. Jacob Israel's another one, guys. He's a good channel as well if you want to check him out as well. Do I ever use bug repellent? Not really. I mean, the kids do. I really don't. I just, when it's summertime, I try to get out early. What is the blue barrel at the end of my driveway? That has our house number on it. That's all it is. It's just a 55-gallon drum, and it's got our house number on it. So, like, if UPS or somebody's coming down the road and they're looking for my address is on there. So that's all that barrel is. Oh, that's cool. He's a subscriber to all three of those fellows. Yeah, they're good guys. I mean, there's a lot of good channels out there, guys. There's a lot of really good information out there. I like Diamond from the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. I like his channel too. A lot of great information on his channel as well about the grand solar minimum and what's going on with that. I know a lot of people think we're getting warmer and all those type of things, but you look at the different things that are happening with the record amounts of snow and the cold and stuff like that. Like I said, I've talked about this before. The planet is going to go in cycles. You have periods where it's warm. You have periods where it's cold. The way that the weather is changing so rapidly and a lot of crazy stuff is going on with the weather, we are in a cycle change, okay? And when that changes, it's going to be a bad thing. If you rent have room in your storage locker to keep your preps. Yeah, if you have a storage locker, absolutely, that's a good way of doing it. As long as you can. Diamond smokes too much weed. LOL. Okay, well, he might. I don't know, but I like his channel. He's got some. He's smart man. I will give him that. I'm not going to take that away from him. I think we are going into an ice age. Absolutely. I believe the same thing. I think we're headed into a grand solar minimum where things are going to get colder. You're going to see it happening. The weather's changing so rapidly, and a lot of crazy stuff is happening, and it's going to affect food production, and it's going to affect everything overall. We cannot continue to sustain the amount of people that we have on the planet unless we do. The thing is, guys, realistically, if they did food production really, really smartly with, China's doing a thing right now, okay? China in the city is trying to combat smog and all this type of stuff. So they're building different cities where they have like a lot of trees, a lot of plants, and all this type of stuff in there, okay? And so, when they do that, it helps to oxygenate because obviously plants put off oxygen. They breathe our CO2. So it's that symbiotic relationship, and we need to have that. But I think like all the rooftops, like in cities and stuff like that, if we turn those into gardens, if we did a lot of aquaponics and that type of stuff, and we could grow so much food it would be ridiculous. There would be more than enough for everybody. Maine is already cold. If you don't hear from me, I'm frozen in the mountain. LOL. All right. Well, we'll keep that in mind. Please don't freeze in the mountain. Yeah, I know you guys are supposed to get hit up there in Maine again, too, is what they're saying from this storm out west. Yeah, New York State, 4 seasons in 1 week. We always just say, if you don't like the weather, wait an hour, it'll change. Because it's like, it can be sunny, nice, to snowing, to rain. It's crazy how the weather changes up here so fast. Doesn't New York have garden top buildings? I think some of them do, but we should be doing it more. It should be a priority. We should have gardens everywhere, guys. We should have things teaching people how to garden, how to be self-sufficient. But see, the thing is, the powers that be don't want you to be self-sufficient. They want to control everything. So we need to be doing this on our own to learn how to do these things, to become more self-sufficient so we're not so reliant on the government. I would rather... Chicago has rooftop gardens too. Cool, Robert, that's cool. But they need to do it more, is what I'm saying. And people need to be taught. It's really, really important. The more green we can go, and when I say green, guys, what I'm talking about, they're coming up with different kinds of wind turbines, not the big bladed ones, but the ones that turn in a circle this way. And because of the symbolization of where they are together, it makes them more efficient. Solar is great as well. But the thing is, if we get going with gardening and learning how to garden and doing aquaponics and having that relationship with fish and the plants and working that all together, we could grow so much food it would be ridiculous. But they don't want to teach you that. In Michigan, you only have to wait 15 minutes for the weather to change. I can imagine. I should be able to see the Oreo board. You know what I looked out there the other day when they were talking about that happening, and we did not see them from here. We went out there. Heather and I went out and we're looking for it. Which is better, dollar bills or coins? I would rather have coins, silver dollars, if you can, even better, because silver is still going to be worth something even if the dollar collapses. So, again, pre-1960 or 65 quarters, so 1964, or earlier, half dollars, dimes, get those older coins. That silver is going to be junk silver, exactly. It's a good thing to have on hand. I have some. I don't have a ton, but I do have some, and I think it's really, really important that we have that. I really do. Because if the dollar collapses, guys, all the money in the bank is going to be worth nothing. A young person told me that prepping is hoarding and against the law. LOA. They better not show up at my door. Yeah, they have no idea. The younger generation absolutely has no idea. They're not being taught anything, and they're being taught is that preppers are crazy, because if you look at doomsday preppers, they show preppers in a bad light. And the thing is, whenever I used to always wonder, why do these people say they're just prepping for this? Or why do they say they're just prepping for that? Well, then I found out that the producers of the show will say to these people, pick one thing you're prepping for. So, and then of course, what do they do at the end of that show? They discredit you and say how ridiculous it is that you're prepping for that one event and what are the chances of it happening. So, but the thing is, most preppers prep for whatever. That's what we prep for. We prep for whatever could happen. We never know what's going to happen. So that's the important thing to think about. What do you think about? I'm going to be doing a video, Kenneth, about that. I'm going to be doing a video. That's actually one of the things that I will be talking about very soon. There's a virus going around that I'm going to be doing a video on that very, very shortly. I might even do that Friday. I think I may do that on Friday. So look for that for my live chat on Friday. My workplace doesn't deposit our paychecks today; they deposit it tomorrow. Yeah, it's the day more that they can keep your money, they make more money off of it. So the more that they can delay you, the better. Dude, it's just like YouTube, guys. Okay, this is what YouTube does, and they do it every freaking time. So tomorrow is the day, the 11th, that we find out, because we get paid once a month on YouTube. Okay, so we get paid on the 21st. Now, because this month, the 21st is on a Sunday, we won't get paid that day. We'll get paid on a Monday. So they get to keep our money an extra day. And that just happens however the month falls. But on the 11th, that's what we find out what we're going to get on the 21st. Leading up to that last 7 days before, every time, and ask other preppers or YouTubers as well that have channels, your money may be here. That last 7 days, it goes down just before, so your estimated earnings all go down. Your views could be up. You could be doing great. You could be doing gangbusters, but they'll be saying that your money is down. They do it every freaking time. And so that way they don't have to pay you as much. It's just part of the game that is YouTube. So where did I get my blue power inverter for the solar? How much was it? Okay, you're talking about my Ames inverter. I got that right off a line, right from the Ames company. So it's an AIMS, great inverter. It is that inverter, I can charge my batteries when I'm running my generator as well. So it's a dual purpose type of thing. It converts the DC power to AC power, and then it also charges up the batteries when I'm using the generator. So it, like yesterday, we ended up pulling in 4.3 kilowatt hours yesterday. And so we had a really, really good day as far as power goes. Yeah, YouTube cheats with their algorithms, you think? Yeah, and they definitely, heaven forbid you say anything bad about pharmaceutical companies, because you will be demonetized. If you say anything about a current event where somebody has died, they will demonetize. Do you think Yellowstone magma belt is messing with the weather? I don't think that that's messing with the weather. Yellowstone is going to do what Yellowstone's going to do. It always has, and it always will. So it definitely is going to affect things. Sure, Yellowstone will definitely, when that time comes, it's going to be a bad day. Hopefully it doesn't happen in our lifetimes, but you never know when it's going to happen. I love it when people say to me, "Oh, don't worry about Yellowstone. It's not going off for 100 years." How do you know? Nobody knows. So, Okay, what about we're talking about we're going to talk about the nuclear power plants for a second. I did want to mention, before we get into that, I wanted to mention really quickly, we are still doing the sale until Sunday, midnight East Coast time, 3 a.m. West Coast time on the website. 20% off of everything, off the legacy foods, off of any merchandise. So you can get this awesome t-shirt or coffee mugs are at the website as well. And, again, if you want to save on legacy foods, at 20% off on everything until Sunday at midnight East Coast time, 3 a.m. or 3 a.m. 3 a.m. East Coast time, 12 midnight West Coast time. Sorry, guys, messed that up. But, okay, so we're going to talk about nuclear power plants for a second. And, again, depending on where you live, it is definitely going to affect you directly. With all the nuclear power plants that we have around, it's definitely going to affect the people in the generalized location of where those nuclear power plants are when they melt down. And you're talking about something that will affect things for long term. I mean, long term. And so that's a scary, scary situation. If we have a grid down situation where the grid goes down and they're not able to bring them down and cool them down in a proper way, and they melt down, you don't want to be probably within 30 miles of a nuclear power plant because you will be affected. And even further out, it will affect you. Yeah, somebody just look at Fukushima. And let's think about Fukushima for a second, which is still dumping radioactive water into the ocean every single day. And look how long ago Fukushima happened, and it's still doing that. So I live in 7 miles from Lime Rock Power Plant in Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's not good. You want to look at, if SHTF happens, you want to be as far away from that as you possibly can be, because that will definitely affect you. Yeah, Colorado Prepper just said he's 1,000 miles from the nearest nuclear power plant. One of the reasons I like my location. Yeah, and I picked my location, guys, for the same type of reasoning. I wanted to be as far away from them as I possibly could be. And where I'm at, I'm definitely in a good position. And with the way that the wind blows most of the time where I'm at, it blows from west to east. So where the nuclear power plant is, it's like here's my home. The nuclear power plant is way over here in this area, so that's going to blow that way more. So, and I'm a good distance away from it anyway, so it's not like it's anywhere close to me. Yep, Chernobyl. There's another one. Look at what happened over there and it affected that area. What do you do for a toe blister? They have like little pads you can get for if you have that type of blister that you can put over that blister that's going to give you that support for that. So if you want to go to any drugstore and tell them what you're looking for to help with that blister, you can do that there. They can help you with that. My only concern in my town is the tech. I missed that. Sorry. The whole toe is a blister. Wow, that's not good. So yeah, it's a crazy, crazy freaking world out there right now, guys. There's so many things that could possibly happen. To sit around and think about all the possibilities is scary. That was a nice little power surge. That was weird. So it's very, very scary. Okay, but you can't think about all these things that could possibly happen, that might happen, or whatever. What you really need to think about is just trying to get as ready as you can for the inevitability that something will happen. And when it does, again, the biggest thing, and I've talked about this before, is acting, not reacting. Am I afraid to talk about weed? No, I've talked about weed quite a bit, actually. I'm not afraid to talk about weed at all. If you look at my other chats that I've done, we've done a lot of talks about weed. We used to talk, one video or chat that we did, we talked about what kind of music we like to listen to when we were stoned. So, like I said, I have nothing against it. Am I happy with my Ames inverter because I get a bad rap? I'm going to tell you what, I love my Ames inverter. I have had zero issues with it. We've had it for 3 years now. Awesome. I have not one complaint about my Ames inverter at all. They're awesome. Just like I have Midnight Classics. I have the 150 Midnight Classics, my inverters. Charge controller. I'm sorry, charge controllers. I have two Midnight Classic 150s. They're absolutely awesome as well. So I can't complain about any of them. After my initial stuff that I bought, then I bought quality, and I haven't had to worry about it since. And it makes a big, big difference. Yes, I'm completely off grid. Yes, I am, JJ. Have been since we got here. And in the beginning, it was tough. I'm going to tell you what. We used the generator a lot in the beginning. And every year, it gets better. We have to use the generator less and less. And once we do our upgrade this year, I think it's going to make a big difference as well. Plus, we're going to be adding another 900 watts of solar into the system this year. So it's going to be awesome. Does it scare you that there was an earthquake off New York's coast? No, not at all. Um, like I said, I'm so far inland that an earthquake off the coast is not going to affect me at all. They could have 100-foot waves and it's not going to get us up here. So, but people close would be in pretty bad shape. Oh, that's fine, King Nasty. No problem, man. Like I said, as far as weed goes, I look at it like this: weed is not a big deal. It has a lot more helpful benefits than it does hurtful benefits. We've talked about the fact that nobody's killed anybody when they're stoned. They're looking to have a sandwich and take a nap, or just chill. So, when do you start our Christy just asked from Kentucky. I talked about it a little bit earlier, Christy. We start our garden, we put it in end of May. That's when we do our garden, just because of the weather up here. Now, once I get a greenhouse going up here, obviously I will do it a lot sooner and be able to start earlier and stay later with stuff. And then I will actually also have winter crops that I will be growing in the cold weather as well. So when I do get the whole greenhouse things going, it's going to be awesome because I'm going to do it right. I'm not going to do it, jerking it together. It's going to be done the right way the first time, which may take longer to put together. But when it's done, it's going to be really, really cool because I want to do a geothermal system with my greenhouse, okay? And I want to do an aquaponic system with my greenhouse. So there's going to be a lot that's entailed with that, and I think it'll be really, really cool. It's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be well worth it in the long run because once we have the greenhouse up and going, we're talking about all of our greens that we're going to have. Everything like that is going to be grown ourselves, and we won't have to purchase those anymore at all. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. What is a good ham radio to buy? Tara, good question. I don't actually at the moment have a ham radio. I have a couple of, walkie-talkies. I have a couple of, oh my God, I'm going blank here. I had somebody send me, not the walkie-talkie. I got walkie-talkies, and then there is the other radios, and I'm going blank on what they are. Because somebody help me out because I'm having a brain fart. Not seeing. Nobody's helping me. CB. Yes, CBs. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Completely blank, guys. I have a couple CB radios that were sent to me, and but I definitely do need to get a ham radio. That is definitely on my list, and they're good to have. So I can't believe I just completely blanked on it. Oh my God, it's crazy. I mean, there was nothing. There was no help there at all. So thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, I have, Mountain Grove said she's got walkie-talkies and hand crank radios. I have hand crank radios as well. I also have walkie-talkies. Communication, guys, is going to be a huge, huge thing in a post-event to try to find out what's going on around the country. If you can get a ham radio, the distance to find out what's going on farther away is going to be really, really good to know. And so, that's important. That's definitely an important thing. $10 is great. Okay. Oh, on Marfugal, she does the pre-show. She does ham radio. That's cool. Like I said, guys, any information that you can find out to get it, you don't have to have your operator's license to have a ham radio, but to be able to get on there and talk with other people, you do. But even if you're just getting it just to listen to what's going on, that's a really, really good thing. It's a really good thing to have. Do I trust drinking water from a deep well? Well, since I do it every day, yeah, I do. We still run it through the Berkey water filter, though, to be honest with you. But now, my well's 120 feet deep, and we drink that water. We wash with that water. We cook with that water. But for the water that we use for cooking and drinking, we run it through the Berkey water filter first, just to be extra safe. Yeah, Morse code is a good thing to know, too. Yes, absolutely a good thing to know. Who would stop you from talking on a ham? The SCC. They have a problem with people that aren't licensed on there. You need to be licensed to talk on your I mean, in a post event, it's not going to matter, but beforehand, you can get in big trouble for being on a ham radio without a license. So, like I said, a good thing. I will be in the mountains until Monday, so sending a little to help the kids. Thank you, Mountain Girl. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I expect that picture, too, from you, Mountain Girl, when you get your T-shirt, okay? So please, I would like that. So I'm not telling you have to, but if you would, that would be awesome. So I can throw that up on my Facebook page. And like I said, anybody else that has bought a T-shirt previously, please do the same thing. Bang Fang. Oh, yeah, the Watchman there is telling you what kind to get. The link's going to be available on the website. So, yep. Do you have to announce your license number when using your ham? You're going to have a call sign as far as that goes so that they can know who you are. But you definitely need to, if you're going to be on there now with a ham radio talking, you have to have your license. Like I said, after SHTF, then it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. And they find out when you're talking on a ham radio and license, they do have drills for that. Yeah, like I said, they know, guys. When people don't have that, they're going to come and they're going to bust you. And I really wouldn't want anybody getting fined because they can think they can do whatever they want, and they would take it. They would take your stuff away, and you could pay a heavy duty fine for that. So there's no reason to do that. It's good to have. You can, like I said, you could listen for now on that ham radio and kind of find out what's going on, and so that's definitely a good way to do it. Will the EMP mess up for the ham? Yes, EMP will. So you're definitely going to want to have your ham radio in a Faraday cage if you can. They can find you with triangulation. Absolutely, they can find out exactly where you are, guys. Anybody, anytime can be found anywhere. Okay, if you're using any kind of technology, if you're using a cell phone, if you are using the internet, whatever you have. I mean, just even registering your car and having your license, your cell phone, like I said, cell phone, they can find you no matter what, guys. So you can be found. Don't think that you're untouchable unless you have absolutely nothing to do with the grid. So you don't have it. So if that's you, you're not even watching this, okay? Because that's just the reality of it. Do I believe in predictive programming? Oh, I think people are being absolutely programmed all the time. It's we're being targeted. There's a lot of subliminal messages in advertising. That happens all the time. You look at the commercials that are out there and how they portray different people. Okay, it's all part of programming. So it's like if they want, okay, good example. Okay, now I gave up TV, guys, when we moved here almost 4 years ago, and I have not had a TV since, and I do not miss it. I hated commercials. They used to drive me insane. But here's a good example. How is the white man portrayed on TV today? Let's talk about that because I'm white. I'll talk about white people. The white man is portrayed on TV now is fat, dumpy, and stupid. Okay, or the clown. That's how he's portrayed. Other races are portrayed differently. Okay, it happens all the time now. If you watch how they do things now, that's how they do it. Okay, and so you've got a whole younger generation that thinks that it's cool to act this way. And, my thing is, if you act respectfully to everybody, that's the way it should be, so boat on the water can be triangulated. Yeah, absolutely it can be. Absolutely. Pennsylvania well water smells bad with sulfur at 60 feet. Yeah, but you know what? Like I said, if you run that water, or if you actually that sulfur water, if you let that get to the air, that sulfur will dissipate in the air. And then, if you take that water and you run it through a Berkey, you're not going to taste that at all. You're not going to taste that at all. That's been the case for like 20 years. Yeah, I know. They've been doing it for a long time. Actually, if you want to look back, Hollywood in the 80s is when they really started changing things around as far as how they wanted to push it out to people. And if you go back before the 80s and you see how they did things and how it changed in the 80s. It really, truly did. So, like I said, to each their own. I look at it like this: as long as people are respectful, as long as they're decent neighbors, they're not. I'm trying to think. Okay, I had a neighbor when I first moved up here. Okay, my neighbor right next door, who's now passed away, but they actually sold their place before we actually moved up here full time. But when I first bought my place, I would come up here and I would be doing stuff. And this guy that was my next door neighbor was a heavy, heavy, heavy drinker. Okay, and he would have his music so loud that you could hear it past my house, well past my place. And so to me, and he was white, okay, just so you know, he was white. That's disrespectful. I don't care if you're listening to your music and enjoying your music, but you need to be respectful of other people around you. To me, that was disrespectful. Shutting things down at a certain time of night. It's a respect thing. Respecting your neighbors, respecting other people's privacies. Like the neighbors on the other side, she worked for a grocery store where she was getting up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and the people next door, they'd be up playing loud music to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. She would have a hard time sleeping. So what you do affects your neighbors. So it's like, again, it's a respect thing, and as long as you're respectful to me, I'm going to be respectful to you. If I have an issue with somebody, if I have an issue with my neighbors, I'm the type of person, I'm going to go to them first. I'm going to talk to them and see if we can't work it out that way. Because a lot of times you can kind of squash a lot of BS that way. Okay. If that doesn't work, then you have to go from there, but that's why you have, the police are around to take care of those issues if you have to do that. My well is 60 feet and still has the bad sulfur smell. Yeah, but like I said, JJ, if you have get that water come up and let it sit in the air, that sulfur smell will dissipate. It really will. Oh, how's my back? I was feeling it, I'll be honest with you, a little bit today. My back was feeling it when I got done with that today, but not bad. I actually, like I said, I used a CBD muscle pain eraser. I used that tonight, and it definitely, I'm telling you guys, it really, really helped. Really, really helped. And I'm trying to, like I said, I'm pacing myself, so I'm trying not to overdo it. I kind of overdid it a little bit today because I got most of what I wanted to get done. And so there's more to do, obviously, but it's getting there. Like I said, it all just takes time. Yeah, I took that tree pile down. Yeah, it's like I said, we took down, it was 8 trees altogether, and it's definitely, it's getting there. And I'll be glad when I got them all over there, and then when I pull out the splitter, I won't split them all at one time, but I'll work on it, and then once whatever we split, then we'll stack it, and we'll just, like I said, just working towards CBD is so much better with the THC. Yeah, absolutely. If it doesn't have the THC in it, it's not really working at all, to be honest with you. No, it's not for drug addicts. It has nothing to do with that, because it does not get you high in any way, shape, or form. So, not at all. But I get, like I said, I get lower back pain. So, but that's because of my surgery. But I'm sure that it would definitely help. What size shirt am I wearing? I am wearing an extra large. So actually, it's an extra large. And I am in the 210 range right now. So that's what size I'm wearing. Is the paint eraser like icky hot pen form? It's that kind of form, yes, but it's not. It's like a little sticky, but it definitely helps. What is the cost of the CBD oil? Honestly, I don't know, because I have to go back to the website and look at it. But like I said, once I get set up with him, there will be a discount code for anybody that buys, through my channel. So there definitely will be a discount for that. Are there videos on YouTube about canning wet and dry goods? Lots of them, Gene. There's lots of them. The sulfur smell came right out of my our kitchen sink tap. Horrible. Yeah, well, like I said, it depends on where, like, because I haven't, now my well has sulfur in it, I'll tell you. But because I have that artesian well and that water's always coming up, like with my storage tank, if I open up my storage tank where my water's at, there is no sulfur smell because that water is always coming up, so that smell is always dissipating. So when I have it come into the house from the storage tank, there is no sulfur smell at all. So that's really, really helpful for us. What are my thoughts on all the explosions? I don't even know what explosions you're talking about. Lincoln, could you be more specific of what you mean, please? I don't really know what you mean. Icy hot, not icky. I know what you meant. Smitty says he pays $60 a bottle for 1,000 milligrams of CBD oil. Yeah, hemp. That's what he's using, is the hemp for his. Yes, the CBD oil is going to be on my website. Is anything flowering up where I'm at yet? Not yet. It hasn't started flowering yet. Like I said, as soon as things start flowering, guys, then we're going to have the bugs. So I'm trying to get things rocked out here before the bugs all come because they're not fun to play with. For the sulfur smell, run a fish. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Yep. Yes, hemp CBD oil is legal federally. Yes, you can get that anywhere. So a lot of places are selling it, so you can get that anywhere. Like I said, I'll show you this one here. This is the CBD oil here, and you can see, hopefully you guys can see that, but it has, this is a 30 milliliter bottle. It's CBD. It has 2,047 milligrams. CBG has 918 milligrams. CBC is 59.4 milligrams. And THC has 63.3 milligrams in that bottle. Now, the THC, guys, is not going to get you high. That's not enough to get you high, but you need to have that in there if you're going to have it work. And that's from hemp. That's not from, regular marijuana. How's the chicken McMansion coming along? Well, we're going to be working on the McMansion tomorrow, so we'll be definitely working on that then. I've seen people vape the CBD oil. Is that recommended? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think you're supposed, with this here, guys, what this is like 2 squirts under the tongue. It's sublingual. So that's how you're supposed to take it. You're not supposed to be vaping that. I don't think that's good for you at all. No, we're not going to link to their website. We're going to have it for sale directly on our website for the CBD oil. So, like I said, I have to contact him and talk with him and get that all worked out. But we are going to be definitely doing that. So, and again, guys, if you would hit the like button, I would appreciate it. That all helps. Again, I know this is the second time me saying it, but it definitely helps. So I would appreciate that if you would hit the like button. Am I getting meat birds for the homestead? Not right away. No, I'm going to get layers. I want to have chickens that are going to lay. Down the road, we may get some meat birds, but right now I just want to really focus on layers. There's a lot of things that I want to get done, but before I get to a point where I'm working on processing a lot of chickens as far as layer or for meat birds goes, I want to have an underground. My website, it's preppernurse1.com. That's the website. So you see PrepperNurse1 and then just go preppernurse1.com. Roosters become meat birds. Yes, Pat, they sure do. Do I home roast coffee? I don't. I'm not a big coffee drinker. I'm more of a tea drinker, so I don't drink a lot of coffee. I mean, I'm not against drinking coffee, but I don't have a lot of that for myself. Yeah, JJ, I'm ready. Definitely ready. I'm having the bike serviced in a couple weeks. I had to go make an appointment for that. So actually, about 2 weeks, it's getting serviced, and it will be ready to go. But I will be out riding before then. What's my opinion on underground bunkers? I think that they're important to have because we never know what's going to happen. So having an underground bunker that you can use as cold storage as well, have a dual purpose for it. I want to have an underground bunker, and I want to have an area of it that I'm going to turn into a freezer. Realistically, that's my goal, and to have food storage underground as well. But again, that's going to definitely be a lot of work when we get to that point. Well, guys, we're at the end of this here. I know we're actually a couple minutes over, but it's not a big deal. We're going to jump off of here for now. I'm going to end my shows like I always end my shows. Remember, guys, we're all in this together, so we got to try to work together if we can. Also, remember, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen, so that's important to tell them how you feel. And remember, STD, guys. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever you're trying to do, you can do it. The only one that's going to stop you from getting there is yourself. That's it, okay? So stay focused, and you guys will be great. I will talk to you all tomorrow. I hope everybody's having a great day. So look for an update tomorrow on the Chicken Mansion, because we're going to be working on that tomorrow, okay? I will see you guys later. Have a great night. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.